In 2014, a YouTuber known as Bits and Echoes uploaded a short video titled Recovered Audio, found on eBay Drive, Do Not Listen Fully. It received fewer than 400 views in its first week. Most dismissed it as an urban legend, an ARG attempt, or bait content. The thumbnail was a blurred spectrogram. The description was just a single sentence. This was at the root level. No folder, no metadata. The file named itself when I copied it. According to the uploader, they had purchased an old 2 terabytes external hard drive from eBay, listed simply as for parts. When plugged in, it contained only one file. No title, just an icon. A waveform image. No extension. No creation date. No file size. But when they dragged it onto their desktop, the file name changed to if _you _listen _you _forget.wave. The user played it in Audacity. No vocals. No recognizable instruments. Just a series of deep, synthetic tones. Like something between a submarine ping and a church organ, layered over a faint wind. Then, silence. Then, something like breathing. The audio lasted 2 minutes and 49 seconds. But the user claimed something strange happened halfway through playback. The audio clip glitched, not visually, but mentally. They blacked out. When they came to, the file had moved. It was now in their system's startup folder, under a new name. Recall_failed_01.wave. They claimed their computer's clock had jumped forward 17 minutes. And worse, when they reviewed the video footage of them reacting to the file, they were staring directly at the camera, mouth slightly open, not blinking, for exactly 2 minutes and 49 seconds. The original video remained on YouTube for 9 days. Then it was taken down. The uploader's channel deleted. All that remained were re-uploads, mirrored fragments, and a rapidly growing subreddit. r/recall failed. The subreddit r/recall failed grew fast. What began as a repost of the video became a hub for users reporting side effects from listening to the file. They weren't losing full memory. They were losing specific pieces. One user forgot their email password permanently. Another forgot how to unlock their phone, even while holding it. But others lost deeper, stranger things. I forgot my grandmother died. I called her landline expecting her to answer. I forgot how to spell my own last name. I forgot the color blue. Like I know it exists, but I don't know which one it is anymore. A user named Syntax Sever posted a tool to convert the audio into a visual spectrogram. When slowed and processed, the waveform revealed something hidden. In between every major tone was a faint, inverted frequency. Mapped out, it produced a digital pattern resembling text, low resolution, distorted. One user reconstructed the text manually and posted a screenshot. The result: if you hear your name, stop. People began uploading their own versions of the file. Re-encodings, pitch shifts, echo removals. But the strange thing was, every version behaved differently. In one version, the breathing was louder. In another, there was a child's voice humming softly. And in one terrifying case, the audio didn't end at 2:49. It looped, extending itself until closed manually. One listener said it whispered their name at 3:33, even though the file shouldn't have lasted that long. Then came the vanishings. A user named Oral Trace claimed to have created a silent, reversed version of the file for analysis. They reported it was flat, no danger. But 2 days later, another user uploaded proof that Oral Trace's version now contained a new waveform block. It hadn't existed in the raw data before. Inside it, a coded message. One line, encrypted in 4-bit binary. After decryption, it read, "I'm already inside the memory that's missing." A new theory emerged. What if the file wasn't deleting memory? What if it was replacing it, shaping blank spots with new images, new facts, new associations, so seamlessly, you'd never know what you lost. Until you realized you're remembering something you never lived. As the story gained traction, a podcast called Midnight Binaries released an interview with a man named Cliff Hartley. He claimed to have heard the same sound in 1998, years before the YouTube video ever existed. According to Cliff, he was working as a late-night janitor at a defunct university radio station in Ohio. One night, while switching reel-to-reel tapes, he left a channel open, dead air. Then, without warning, the speakers activated themselves. A low, rising frequency. No source, no playlist, just tones. He remembered 2 minutes, a slight pulse, and a whisper. The next morning, he couldn't remember his own apartment number. It took him 3 days to find where he lived, but he never forgot the sound. When he heard the 2014 re-upload, he collapsed. He said, "It was the same, but now it knew I'd heard it before." Then the reports started coming in. People who'd never heard the file began experiencing symptoms. Static in the middle of unrelated podcasts, brief tones while playing old cassette tapes, shortwave radios picking up inverted spectrograms at 3:33 a.m., gamers hearing a single warped breath during loading screens. One Twitch streamer fainted live while booting up a retro PlayStation horror game. The VOD showed the screen glitching, then her webcam froze. A faint breath played through her mic. Then silence. Then, the words, "Don't remember this." They weren't spoken by her. They weren't part of the game. One researcher from Berlin named Theo Malek attempted to trace the digital fingerprints of the audio file across torrent networks and dark web trackers. What he found disturbed him. The original file was never uploaded. It already existed in multiple nodes before it was shared. It had no timestamp, no owner hash, no propagation path. Theo wrote, "This wasn't a file. It was a listener." Then came the dreams. Users began sharing identical dreams. A field of empty photo frames. A hallway where every door opens to someone else's memory. A mirror showing your face 5 seconds too late. And in every dream, the same sound. Not the full audio. Just the end. The breath. The silence. Then a soft voice saying, "I left something in you." Spectrogram decoders found a new string of data embedded in the most recent versions of the file. This one was longer, more fragmented, like a sentence heard halfway through. When stitched together, it read, "We are not trying to erase you. We are trying to make space." In January 2023, a cyber forensics team from Canada published a paper titled, "Auditory Encoded Memory Disruption: Theoretical Implications of Recall Failure Events." Most dismissed it as sci-fi satire, but inside the paper was something real. An audio fingerprint match between the 2014 recall failed file and an unexplained tone burst captured during a 1972 deep-sea sonar test by the U.S. Navy. The signal structure was identical, except the 1972 version was 37 seconds longer and contained a second voice. That voice, when isolated, said, "Please make room." It became clear. The file wasn't meant to erase memories. It was making space for something else. And it had done it before. Old forum screenshots from 2009 showed similar behavior tied to a missing episode of a kid's educational CD-ROM. Before that, in the 1980s, a few shortwave listeners reported tone-only interruptions that made them forget what they were recording. All with one shared phrase, "We are already where your name used to be." Then, the ending arrived. A YouTuber named Elias Revive decided to livestream himself listening to the entire recall failed file, unedited. Over 11,000 people watched live. At 2:48 in, his eyes widened. He stopped speaking. He stared directly into the camera. And at 2:49, he whispered, "I didn't give it permission." The stream cut out. His channel was wiped clean within 6 hours. And users who watched the whole thing began reporting symptoms. Missing street names they've driven for years, forgetting how old they're looking in the mirror and thinking, "That's not the face I remember." Then, the worst part. A user reverse engineered the final waveform of the original file. When rendered visually, not as a spectrogram, but as a 3D depth map, it produced an outline of a human face. expressionless, eyes closed. Then, after 10 seconds, the eyes opened, and the map regenerated to form your own IP address. There was no more debate. The file was not created. It was not uploaded. It was found. Or worse, it was waiting for you to click, to listen, to forget. And when you forget, it can finally begin writing. This is Fade to Black, where the stories they tried to erase, rewrite us instead. Like, comment, subscribe, before this channel disappears too. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're still here, maybe you remember enough to resist. Maybe, but if something feels off tomorrow, if a street name is missing, if a song plays in reverse when no one else hears it, ask yourself, what did I forget to forget? This is Fade to Black.